So thank you for the introduction, and we are all gathered today in the room to discuss about Skills India leadership. The esteemed dignitaries who are sitting in the room, and we all will be discussing, and they have all the experiences in their respective areas and fields, in the field of education and in the sector, which is so much converging with the other sectors. So initially we used to talk about education, but now since the government is focused more on outcome based rather than inputs and rather than procedures and processes, so we are discussing more about outcomes and how these learnings are being converted and are being translated into the various kinds of translation and employability, the global readiness, the competency, the future ready workforce. So we are talking in terms of the metrics which we measure, so that we can take some concrete and tangible actions when it comes to translating our education into something which is impacting our day-to-day social lives, and also it's contributing towards the economic development, and also it is contributing towards the Viksit Bharat goals of 2047. So now the new education policy, which was being launched in 2019 in various few places, and then it has been spread across throughout India, we have seen in that the focus is more on the vocational training, the focus is more on internship, apprenticeships, and more on applicability, more on learning and applications. And now since these 3+4+4 system, which has replaced 10+2 system, now we can see that the students are more into applications. The student, they want to do more learning by doing, experiential training, and we want to experience something through the various kind of digital tools, through smart classrooms, and they will find out about various kind of analytics and about various kind of outcomes. So now the skills that are required, the learnings and skills that are required to achieve our Viksit Bharat goals, that since India is having a demographic dividend and our 62% of the population is young population, and so we also enjoy the competitive advantage over rest of the world in preparing ourselves so that we can participate in the global supply chains, and also so that we can contribute toward the human development and human dignity, and in the race which is coming over in the form of artificial intelligence. Now recently India is also organizing a very large function in Delhi, the AI Impact Summit, in which we are having our own module of AI, which is called the hybrid AI. Now hybrid AI is about decentralized and distributed artificial intelligence. Now over the period of past 10 years, while implementing the Digital India program and scheme, what we have realized is that while we were using the digital tools and autonomous machines to reach our targeted group and beneficiaries, but then we found that the data which has been collected, and over the period of time, it needs to be dealt with. It has to be shared with our startups, and also with the global platforms and the global stakeholders. But then at the same time, we have to be very mindful of the privacy issues and the cyber security issues. So then also we realized that these hyperscale cloud models, which we were using by hosting our applications on the hyperscale cloud, are not giving that much of returns in terms of these kind of specific targeted outcomes. While we were implementing these large-scale hyperscale cloud models, we were getting a lot of false negative and false positives, and it was not merely going to the targeted group. So therefore we realize in the process that we need to have our own hybrid, decentralized, distributed models, so that which is trained, which is updated on the basis of events and situations and the data, which is our own, which reflects our own ground realities, and also which reflects the culture of our country. Because India is a very, very diverse country. After every 10 kilometers, we are having the change of culture, change of tastes, preferences, customs, rituals. So we need to have our own decentralized modules. But then at the hype that has been done in terms of compute power, GPUs, that we need so much of compute power, we need so much of GPUs. Maybe because India does not require to that much of high hyperscale investment, capital investment at the primary level, at the cutting edge level, so as to reach outcomes. We have to focus on our return on investment. Now, if we are achieving the 90% of the return on investment on the basis of the localized developed modules which reflect our own aspirations and ambition, then there is that much not requirement to go for such kind of an hyperscale investments, capital investments, which are giving us false positives and false negatives. Now, in the discussion, in the deliberations of these kind of things, whether we should go for hyperscale cloud or we should go for the hybrid AI model or distributed model or decentralized models in achieving the outcomes in the education sector, in the health sector, now there are certain skills. There are certain skills which are required by our population, which we need to, impart to them in order to achieve our goals. Now, these impact is that now we need to do systems thinking. It is no more an individual objective, but we need to do the systems thinking, and we need to converge with the other sectors also. Now, for example, if I'm an edutech startup who is trying to meet the agriculture goals. Now, my goal in the agriculture setup is not just to see to it that what is the nature of the soil and what is the nature of the climate in that particular farm, but my objective is also to see the kind of cooperatives which are there, the kind of land use which is being there, and kind of administrative system, and what are the other kind of avenues and leverage which I am available. So I need to go multidisciplinary. I need to become little bit generalist. I need to know to talk about with other kind of stakeholders, voluntary organizations, NGOs, the people who are at the cutting edge level, so that I can receive the inputs from these localized people, so that my localized modules can be prepared. So convergence with other sector, being multidisciplinary, being a generalist is very important. It is one of the most important skills. Now, the other skills, other than systemic thinking and other than being having the convergence ability, I need to also need to know that I need to have certain skills, whatever skills I am having, how I am able to transfer those skills into the other domain, because technology is really evolving very fast. Now, today what policy government is making, tomorrow government has to adapt and change to some other policy. So the turnaround time in the policy is taking very quickly. So what skills I am having, they are not redundant, but then I have to repurpose it, and to transfer those, I need to be aware about my skills, that whether they are to be transferable in other kind of domains. For example, I was doing the accounting work previously in the office, and also I was very well versed in bookkeeping skills. But now with the change in technology, this particular bookkeeping skills have to be transferred, have to be repurposed towards the more data analytics, but towards more analyzing the various kind of pros and cons, and also to cross-reference and to correlate various other kind of things. Now, for example, I was a farmer and I was having the agriculture information, and I was having the tools and techniques to know about the agriculture. So now how I can purpose these kind of agriculture skills? These can be repurposed towards precision farming. So likewise, in the other domains also, for example, I was a teacher and I was teaching, but now what I need to do, I need to change all those skills which I was having towards new pedagogical style, towards the style, so that I can adapt myself to teaching, towards the online platforms, towards contributing some kind of input to the edutechs. So likewise, I should be able to transform and repurpose my skills, and I need to be aware about the transferable skills. Now, one more important skills that we have to learn today is about these collaborative tools. How do I need to collaborate horizontally and vertically? Now, there is it is not the thing of the past that I just have to stick towards my own education domain or my own agriculture or my own health domain. No, there is a need so that I should be able to interact with those people who are the service providers of the digital tools and the applications and the software. Then I need to be very much well versed for the other kind of stakeholders. So now, so all these things are very important and they are evolving. Then also one of the most important skills these days is about the critical thinking and the soft skills which I need to have. Now, the critical thinking is very important because the information is not an issue these days. These general AI models, these large language models, these facility of internet through which I can access so much of information. Information is all around me. But what is required is that how do I leverage that kind of information to the purpose which is associated with me. So all these kind of things which are happening and which have been evolving around me, critical thinking becomes very important, and whether I am able to communicate in the language to the other stakeholders and to the other partners with which I am partnering to develop a solution or to develop a software. So now when I have been discussing, we have discussed and deliberated about all these kind of skills, the other things which are very important is that the primary level and the field level and the cutting edge level has to be empowered if we want to achieve certain kinds of goals. And then these primary institutions like health institutions, our primary health system, our primary social education, primary units, anything which is falling under the primary unit, they have to be more empowered. Now the compute power, that high compute power and the hyperscale model have to be transferred towards edge computing. Edge computing is that we have to bring our data to the place where the situation and where we have to implement the solutions. Whether it is in the ITMS, Intelligent Traffic Management System project, whether it is in the health project, whether it is towards implementing the education, or whether it comes to implementing the smart farm solution. Our compute power, our knowledge have to be shifted towards the edge computing, and such kind of digital tools have to be developed, and these tools can be only developed, they don't require any massive capital investment. Only thing is required, as per the recent study by the Education Ministry of Education Department only, that what we need is that we need some laptop and we need to connect them with 20 endpoints, and there we can develop the models, the new system which suits my requirement, which suits my needs. So such kinds of decentralized distributed model requirement is the need of the hour, and the empowerment to these ANMs who are working at the cutting edge level, these Anganwadi workers, these Ayushman Bharat workers who are working in the wellness centers, and these all kind of these field functionaries, and we have to provide them with some localized digital tools so that they equip ourselves, they equip themselves to implement the small objectives and small problems which is very unique to that local area in order to achieve some targeted in order to achieve some targeted and some kind of concrete and tangible objectives. Now what we have discussed about the various skills. Now other most important aspect which we have to learn in this is that we need to adapt ourselves and acclimatize ourselves with the changing realities which is happening daily. Now India has got such a wide demographic dividend, and we cannot keep on in the enthusiasm and in the discussion that there is a need to update with the localized and hybrid model, but we cannot keep ourselves isolated from what is happening in the global shared platforms. So therefore various kind of initiatives which are taken by the government, whether it is in the DPDP Act, all talks about meeting our localized need, but at the same time we have to contribute towards the global shared environment. And global readiness and global competitiveness of our workforce have to be increased. Whether our workforce it is relevant, whether the workforce, the certification and the degrees that we are giving to our workforce, whether that is relevant in the international platform, whether our universities, they are having some kind of collaborative effort, whether the talent which we are producing in our university, whether it is taken well by the foreign overseas universities and are they increasing their employment there? So all these things have to be done. And in the process of all these kind of development which is taking place, it has to be, government is very mindful about developing our startups, because India is a country of 1.4 billion people, and we are generating the data in massive proportions, in huge proportions, and we are the massive producer of the data when it comes to in the global arena. So these data which we are producing locally, that has to be contained and localized in our servers, and so that we can help our startups. Now sharing of data is very important, because government doesn't want that, but when we have to be mindful of the cyber security threats and other kind of privacy elements. So the data has to be shared in the federated and the synthetic form, not in the real form. The real and raw data should not be shared, but our startups have to be promoted and had to be encouraged. So all these things have to be taken into account, and the skills is determined more, and the learning in form of learning outcomes, that what kind of learning outcomes are we producing, and is it employable? Is our industry happy? Is our industry getting the kind of talent that we are producing? the certifications and the degrees that we are giving to our students, and are they able to get the employability, and are they able to get some entrepreneurial ventures? So these are the various metrics which we should measure in order to get some tangible and the concrete returns. So these are the various things, skills and learning outcomes, which to me were very important, that we have to move from local, and also to local has to be the place at the edge level which has to be vocal. So this is the theme, and this is also the slogan of our government, that we have to go proceed to the hybrid level of AI, and the AI mission of the government is also focusing on the same, and we are developing various models which suits our needs and requirements, but at the same time having very mindfulness about our global and sharing the platforms so as to enrich ourselves, so as to stay ourselves updated with what is going around in the global arena, and also making our contributions towards various kind of global goals like climate change, like cybersecurity. Cybersecurity models cannot be developed without the shared global, kind of memorandum of understanding. So all these things have to be included when we discuss our skills and learnings outcomes. So I think deliberations are still going on, and there are so many, important and dignitaries who are sitting here who has massive experiences in their field, and they also will be sharing their various experiences and learned experiences which they have gained out of in the ground at the field level. And also there are so many people from the academia, and I congratulate the organizers for organizing such a wonderful and phenomenal topic on which the deliberations is going on, and which is very much relevant to the development of the Viksit Bharat goals. And also I thank for the patience, the audience for giving me the patience hearing, and organizers to invite me so as to I can share my views and perspective with the audience. So thank you so much.